One division, one division, one. I'm starting as the way we finished, like it was like it never happened.
Oh my god, how seamless is that going to say? Minus the 10 adverts in the middle of. But you could actively binge that, but it would take you out once you listen to, "Hi, I'm Amanda, and I think you would be great with Robert's dental surgery. Come along, where we can fix your teeth."
But to be perfectly honest, we are thankful for Acast for providing the adverts for on our platform. Big shout out to Acast.
Oh yeah, though that 20p is whoa.
Thank you so much.
Fixing the bank.
Oh, here we are, another podcast, another review.
Oh,
It's our second TV version, let's say, which is very exciting. But first off, how are you, Forrest?
I am dandy, mate. I just dawned on me we're quite close. Can't remember how close. We're getting to our 50th podcast. We're also getting to the year mark as well.
We are.
Dangerously close to the year.
Dangerously. We need to think about doing something.
I know. Maybe
we
a
should
podcast.
do it together. Actually, together. Because when's the last time we did that?
That's a good point. Probably. I know when we did Wildcard at Christmas.
Was it?
Yeah, we did we did Dark Knight. Do you remember? You came round mine. Watched a bit of Dark Knight. You know, you inappropriately touched me. I inappropriately touched you. You know, next thing we know, woo! I'm seeing your Dark Knight. Oh, it was unbelievable.
Straight off the bat. Good bit of business there for us.
Lovely bit of business. Oh, wow, we were. Oh,
I have no words. Good. I'm glad you're okay.
Well, yeah. Long story short, I've had a lovely day, thank you.
Good.
I do you know what? I couldn't wait all day, Matt, to discuss episodes 6 to 9 of Wandavision.
Oh, should we get into it?
Let's deep dive. Episode 6. Oh.
Go on. You go on. You do it. Go on. You do it.
No. I was just going to get
I was just about to say, Forrest, my dear friend, it's time for us to roll that intro. Off we go.
There we go. That's quite nice, actually, because it's been a long time since you've introduced
done that in
it.
ages, yeah.
You haven't introduced it for a long time.
No, I haven't, actually.
There we go.
There we go.
So...
Well, here we are. This is, like you say, you just said it, episode 6 to episode 9 of Wandavision. Now, I got to say, straight away, much like the first half of this series, mate, I binged the heck out of it. I binged it to the point that I forgot to make notes. So what I had to do, not 10 minutes ago, was like rewatch kind of like highlights of it, so I can just retain the things that I wanted to say. Because I just really enjoyed it for what it was. Because I think it was, in its entirety, my second viewing. And there are still, again, so many things that I haven't noticed. And there are things that I'm appreciating more on the second view against the first one. Because you can see what's coming, but you can see then the details that are bringing out with it. But yeah, mate, I think, again, this second half kind of knocks it out of the park. There's a couple of bits, I think, in terms of the delivery and the execution of maybe certain characters' roles and the kind of completion of their roles, which I have small gripes over, I want to say. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But overall, big thumbs up from me, my friend. What about you?
I am last week, this week, and next week are incredibly busy periods of time for me.
Yeah.
And because of that, I didn't quite binge this part of the series in the same way. It was kind of, but didn't destroy my viewing, and also, like yourself, Matt, thoroughly enjoyed myself. Had a really good time. I thought it's just so much. It packs so much into it, which I think in one episode almost got in the way a bit because of how much they pack in. Because actually there was a bit, I think, in the last episode where I go, fucking hell, how many characters are there, and how many different versions of the same character is there, and which character is a good version of the character? I was like, it starts to lose me there, but we will get to that. We will get to that in fine time, I 100%. think. So we travelled in episode 6, which is set in the 90s. So we go 90s comedy, and we go Halloween.
We got Halloween. Now, what I really love about this beginning bit is kind of we get into the sort of the genre, and the decade of sitcoms that I grew up in, and this is obviously an homage to Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
In terms of the beginning bit and the way they're shooting it, and as well in terms of the way they're framed their shots, in terms of having it very close within the house. What's really clever about Malcolm in the Middle when you watch it is that it kind of gives you the idea of that you're in an enclosed house, an enclosed space. So there's more close-ups than there are wide shots, and they use quite a lot of depth as well in certain shots as well that kind of have multiple people at the front, foreground, and the background. These are all kind of like standard 90s sitcom kind of Malcolm in the Middle kind of vibes. And it was, the rocky, punky kind of beginning bit. Pietro coming in as this kind of like funky uncle, which reminds me of the older brother in Malcolm in the Middle. But the whole tone of it is on there. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is my episode, you know?
Could I just want to pick up something that happened a while ago. I was listening to the rest of what you had to say. How do you pronounce the word that tells you whether it's a comedy or it would be a thriller, or you used the word earlier? How did you pronounce it?
Genre.
Wow. Say it one more time.
Genre. Why am I saying it wrong?
No. I think I've said it wrong my whole life.
What have you?
I say genre.
Oh, you didn't. No, you're doing it the posh way.
Am I?
Yeah.
Genre.
Genre, like some sort of like European, like genre.
Oh,
I go to the Cannes Film Festival. Genre, you know. I'm like, no, it's a fucking genre. Like John walking down the street and he goes, genre.
But it's not John though, because it's G, mate. So it's genre.
Sorry.
Genre. I'm like the Zoolander version. Hello, genre.
There's a little bit of more allure to that. Okay. Every time I'm going to say genre, I'm now going to go genre like that to the camera, to the mic, right?
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask me about Pietro then. I thought you were going to ask me something about Pietro, but no, you started picking out my pronunciation on one word.
No, because I thought I'd got it wrong for my whole life. No, honestly, it was nothing but thinking I'd fucked up. But
is there a way of getting Google to do it?
Oh, here we go. Genre.
Oh, shut up, Google.
What's Google?
Oh yeah, she goes genre. Like you're some sort of best mates with Google Translate. Me and Forrest know how to pronounce things. Genre. All right. Fine. Genre.
Fantastic. Well, after now we've established that. Okay, glad I started that conversation. That was, I put vision. There was nothing else in my cupboard, and I have no idea why I've put that. Right, really early on, really early on.
That's really weird. What?
Vision. There was nothing else in my cupboard.
Oh, is he talking about? He's talking about the costume. I think when he tries his outfit on for Halloween, There was nothing else in my cupboard.
Yes.
And they'd make the joke that he's dressed up like some sort of Mexican wrestler, I think. But obviously, it's a tie-in to their original outfits. So so Wanda's dressed as the original Scarlet Witch, and Vision's in his original outfit from the comics.
And I think the reason why I picked up on that was it was another subtle reference to Vision going there's been manipulation, because you're gonna read that where he's going, well, hang on, why is there nothing else? And like, all the clothes I've been used to every day, and now suddenly he's noticing all these things by this point, isn't he? So I think maybe that's why I've put that on there. But yeah, with Pietro, Evan Peters,
Peters, yeah,
and who as since Jeffrey Dahmer has just I can't barely see him again. I can't watch him because I'm just thinking of a psychopathic maniac.
It's only sometimes there's certain characters that actors play and you can't unsee it. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is one of those. I cannot. Whenever I see him in these Sherlock movies and other things that RDJ does, I'm just like, you're Tony Stark. You're nothing else. It's now, Evan Peters has made himself synonymous over a serial killer.
Yeah,
probably one of the worst ones as well.
Yeah, but it's and I don't know what. I think it's just such an image of him being that character, and seeing him do a complete opposite. I'm playing for laughs, but I was just a bit like, that's just weird. But he also, Matt, did you ever watch a show on Channel 4? And I don't know if it was shown in America, Australia, or whatever.
Yeah, so Channel 4 is a independent TV service in the UK for any international listeners.
Yep.
So it's not publicly funded, just an FYI. There's certain things. So the BBC's publicly funded by us, so we pay our taxes, and the BBC take our lovely little taxes, and they make really lovely stuff. And sometimes they say it's apolitical, but it's not really. And then then Channel 4 do it properly. Anyway.
But yes, Channel 4 used to have a show called Invasion. Do you ever watch Invasion? Now, you have got to watch it. Great sci-fi show. I recommend it to anyone. Only lasted one series, I believe. And to be honest, I think it was an American season. American program, sorry. And Invasion. And it is incredible.
Nice.
Brilliant
was it
show.
Misfits or something like that?
No, it was much darker. And it was about I think it was Invasion, but the aliens were coming through rivers and water and stuff, and it was bonkers. I need to go and watch it. But anyway, Evan Peters was in that.
He's great. He's great. He's also in The Office, which is a famous TV sitcom. I think and The Office gets slightly referenced, I think, in later episodes. We'll get to that in a minute. But he plays I think Michael Scott's nephew, and Michael Scott spanks him, doesn't he, at the end of the episode or something like that?
Oh yes, he plays his cousin, doesn't he?
Cousin. Right.
He plays his cousin. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. So he's
a great actor. He's a great actor. I put Evan Peters in the kind of sphere of Andrew Garfield and that kind of lot. He's a really clever, well thought out actor that plays into the detail and the subtleties, and obviously he achieved that in abundance with Jeffrey Dahmer. But in terms of really leaning into the sitcom vibes, and this is the thing, the way that Pietro was played out in this show is interesting, but equally at the same time is an absolute, and I'll say it again because I said it this last week, it's an absolute troll to the MCU audience. Because this was a moment in time when we quite literally thought the MCU somehow under wraps made some sort of deal with the X-Men, and this is how we now introduce mutants and the X-Men, the current X-Men of that time back then. That iteration of Quicksilver coming into our world, because the multiverse is kind of unraveling, as it kind of goes through into Phase 4. We all thought this was happening. We all thought this was something that's going on. They kept it under wraps. They didn't. Even Evan Peters wouldn't say much at all. Would he be coming back as Quicksilver? Nothing was ever said. And obviously, as it played along, he's literally playing a guy with his last name Boner, where it's just quite literally it's just like a ha 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 ha. We got you. Like K-Dog's like secretly like laughing under his hoodie and his hat. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just.
Yeah.
I know I do enjoy his performance. I do enjoy his involvement there. It's funny. There is comic relief there. What I also like now on a second view, and I didn't get this at the time, his character. What's his first name? Something Boner? Something? What's it?
I'm sure it'll be here in my lovely notes.
Ralph.
Oh,
Boner.
why'd you get there first, mate? Oh, I was getting so excited. Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner. So he obviously is under the spell of Agatha, not Wanda. So he can actually see what Wanda's doing. Hence why in those later episodes he kind of sits down in the Halloween episode. He goes, "How are you doing with this? I'm actually genuinely impressed. This is pretty freaking gnarly." You know. So he's actually under Agatha's control, and I didn't know that at the time. I thought he was chosen by Wanda as a distraction because things were unraveling around him. She's like, shit, I need to introduce my brother again. I can't get my brother because he's dead and he's got full of holes in him, and that's what Agatha reveals later. She couldn't do that, so she just recast him.
Yeah, but why? Why would she act shocked when she answered the door when he first arrived there?
Because she genuinely didn't see it coming.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So if she was under her spell, she wouldn't be shocked, right?
Who Wanda under?
So
I see what you mean.
So you're saying that Pietro, obviously quite rightly, is under Agatha's spell.
Yeah.
So therefore Wanda didn't see it coming. So if you thought it was he was under Wanda's spell.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
So I thought at that moment Wanda was playing up to the shot, up to the fact that, oh my god, my brother said, guys, I had no idea, but I actually, controlled this. I thought there was that moment of manipulation from Wanda's point of view, but actually, it was Agatha all along.
Which is an absolute tune, by the way.
Oh my god, what a tune!
Oh god. Well, we're going to get to that though.
We haven't talked.
Catherine Hahn. We haven't talked about at all.
Yeah.
Catherine Hahn. Catherine Hahn.
I think it's Hahn.
Catherine Hahn. Genre.
Oh, for God's sake.
Genre.
Google. Tell me.
I think it must be Hahn because it's Hahn, isn't it? It's not a.
Hahn, yeah, it's got to be, isn't it? Hahn.
Catherine Hahn.
Oh, I can't get it. Where is it? It's not telling me. She's not telling me. It's Hahn.
Catherine. It's okay. Catherine. Oh, we need to speak about Catherine. So we will get there. What I wanted to talk about is because at this point we get Hayward. Now, Hayward, he arrives a couple of episodes before this, but at this point we're really starting to see his kind of villain nature coming.
Yeah.
Now, I actually thoroughly enjoyed Hayward. I enjoyed the character Hayward. And for me, yes, I felt, and you are not going to like what I'm about to say at all whatsoever, but I have to be honest and say I prefer him to General Ross in The Hulk.
What?
Yes. Because it's more fleshed out, mate. He's not just playing, I'm a villain, I'm a villain of the peace. Oh, I work for Backwall Corporation, so I'm bad. Where you don't actually know if he's a villain to start with, right? He's He's another character. You get the vibe, right? They set the vibe, but you don't know if that's where it's headed. And also, there's so many other characters and other things going on that you wouldn't possibly know until later on.
Yeah, but he's just I don't know. There's not. I don't
Matt,
think he what.
Could I pause you there? Because the listeners and me are very interested in what you're about to say.
I bet.
But I haven't got my charger. And my battery's about to run out.
Oh, you silly sauce.
I'm just about to pause, and we'll see you on the other side.
Unbelievable. press record. I don't believe this. This is so unprofessional.
I know. I mean, second week in a row I've stopped you. Peggy last week, and now this.
In our 11 months of doing these podcasts, I've never been so offended in my life.
I just knew you were about to say the wrong thing about Hayward, so I'm straight out of there.
You're wrong. I'm getting my charger.
I just would like to pause here. No, tell us, dear listeners and myself, what your thoughts are on Hayward. Whilst Rachel's clearly making all the noise.
Yeah, can you hear all that noise in the background?
Yeah.
That's Rachel. It was Rachel all along. Right, I'm about to say something really important about Hayward. Yeah. Rachel just went, he's a dick. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he is a dick, but in a good way. Like, he's playing it great.
I just think he does play the dickness really well. He does play the sliminess. He's premeditating quite a lot. The reason why he got Wanda to come back to Sword was so he can expose her from her powers to make sure to reanimate Vision. You know, he put the whole drone into her space so he can get her powers and use it to reanimate sentient Vision. Now, all fine, premeditated, I get it, but it just lacks charm, character. That's for me. That's the only thing from Hayward for me that's kind of missing. With General Ross, there's gravitas to General Ross, so that's part of his charm. There's no charm to Hayward. He's very clearly there as a one person, no real threat. There's no real charm to his character. You know he's going to end up being caught at the end. There's no stakes there.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Interesting.
That's my thought there on him. But he plays it well. And this is no disrespect to his performance. I think he's playing the role that he's supposed to play, right? And I think in terms of just adding a little bit more to him, maybe was needed.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
All right. I'm very intrigued then. Listeners, let us know. Hayward or no Hayward.
Hayward or no Hayward?
Don't know about that. But...
Well, okay, how about this? Hayward or Darren Cross?
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
That's the level that I think Hayward's on.
No, General Ross and Hayward, mate.
No, General Ross is far more synonymous.
Only
you know what I mean?
after the film, though. After Iron Man, yeah, I can agree. But not Iron Man, the Hulk, incredible. But during the events of that film, The Incredible Hulk, General Ross is nothing but a one-dimensional. Oh, I'm a corporal leader.
I'm going to say this now. You are going to regret that when Harrison Ford knocks it out of the park.
Harrison Ford, why is
he's playing General Ross, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they recast him.
Oh, well, he's not played it yet, though, is he?
No.
Oh, no. He's going to play it in. In
Thunderbolts, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. Sorry, yeah, I was aware. Yeah, but exactly, and you can't compare him if he's being played by someone completely different, and it's a completely different show. In the contents of The Incredible Hulk, General Ross is a shit character. I'm just saying it.
Fine. Moving on. Anyway.
So, episode 7, we get Modern Family,
we do.
Which is
we watched
brilliant.
Modern Family yesterday. We had a little bit of a Modern Family feel. It was Mother's Day yesterday. I don't know if it's Mother's Day worldwide. I think it's just UK, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we have it different times, right?
Yeah, we do, don't we? So we were watching, for some reason, Modern Family as a family, and just love it. It's such a good show.
I'm binging it at the moment, and it's apps. I love it. It's just nice. It can be in the background, but you can also watch it, and it's just great. Great level of laughs.
So they play homage to the Talking Heads in Modern Family. They those quick zoom in cutaways as well. That's all very within the esque of what Modern Family deliver in. Also, a nod to The Office, I think, as well, in terms of the beginning bit.
Yeah.
You get the opening credits, which is very kind of Office, Modern Family-esque. But like, yeah, I think. But then this is when it starts unraveling, isn't it? Because when Wanda starts doing her own talking heads, telling that she's kind of losing herself, things are unraveling around her. She feels like she hasn't got any control. Then all of a sudden, the person on the other side of the camera asks her a question, and she can't see that person. She can't see who's done that. And obviously later on, we get the reveal.
It was Agatha all along.
It was Agatha. So Wanda, this is what I think is really great about this series. Not only the concept of this series in terms of its visual delivery is very impressive, but the fact that you kind of think that Wanda's controlling this whole thing, but actually she is under somebody else's illusion as well. And Agatha infiltrating this kind of space as well to gather this power, mystical power from Wanda. I think it's great, and it kind of when that whole reveal happens in the 7th episode as well, doesn't it? At the end, and yeah, it hits really well. Love it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tapping in on what you were saying about this is the first time we see Wanda losing control and being kind of depressive. And what I love is the adverts turn sad as well.
Yeah.
So we start to see that kind of the negative spin on the adverts, which I thought is such a nice touch to this. Which I love. I found at this point the Monica Rambeau gets a little bit stale. Of kind of Monica goes in, then leaves, then she tries to go back in again, leaves again. It's like, how many times is Monica trying to go in this play? And for me, and I know about you, Matt, is why? Why is she so fixated on having to solve this? Because
100%.
there is not a real clear reason as to why she's trying to solve this particular.
The only motive that I'm getting from her is that she's got compassion and empathy for the situation that she's in. Because she keeps saying, she says it a few times, if I was in your situation, I'd want to bring back my mum. I understand where you're at. And and that's kind of her tack when she does end up going back in. But I'm with you on this. There's something not paced very well in the narrative of Monica Rambeau in the latter episodes. I think the first half of her character is played really nicely. It settles in quite nicely with her introduction, her coming out of the hex, learning about the hex, learning about the fact that her genetic makeup is changing. Okay, and then that kind of like gets developed a little bit more. It's been done twice over now when you get into episode 6, and this is kind of when she turns into Photon, and this is where we see when she goes back in. She forces herself back in after not going through kind of that car, not working. Her whole vision changes. She sees things on a different level. She hears and can sense things differently. Fine, okay. That's her origin. We understand that. She's turning into a superhero. We get it. But why? Why? Just because you understand somebody else's feelings and you have empathy for that person and you don't believe that they're a villain, they're an Avenger, we should protect her, fine. But then, is that enough to go through and risk your life again?
Well, yeah. Why risk? The only thing I would have preferred, and whether again we go to the age-old, is there deleted scenes? Is that the order of events would lend itself to, had they have had more scenes with Darcy and Monica, that the last time she goes in, by that point, Darcy's in the circus and they've had that whole scene, right?
Yeah.
And then Monica escapes and then goes back in. Now, at that point, if we'd have had a massive thing about how Monica and Darcy and Jimmy work together, right, and they really work together as a unit, I could understand why that final time Monica would go, right, well, even if I can't save Wanda, I have to at the very least go in and save Darcy and save any members of S.W.O.R.D. that I can save, right? Yeah. I would get that, because that's within her trait, within her job, within her capacity, and she might risk it because she would make the decision to go, right, I'm not going in there to try and tackle the big stuff. I'm just there to get Darcy, and we could add maybe a funny thing about the circus or whatever, and then Monica gets grabbed into something more serious. But the very nature that she would just go in there to solve this thing with Wanda makes no sense, and her whole scenes with Pietro are weird, and that just feels like the only reason for that is that we find out what Pietro is, how he's being controlled, and it just feels like a plot, a construct to find that out.
Do you know what I would have liked? My theory. This is my theory. This is what I would have liked to have happened with Monica Rambeau's character. Now, we understand that she came back 5 years later after the snap to find out that her mum died 3 years earlier, right? And she was just she was understood that her cancer was in remission. She was going to be fine. And unfortunately, came back, and then they lost her during the 5-year gap. Now, that's really traumatic. That's tragic. There's lots of weight. There's lots of stuff in there for a character to drive motive. Now, I know that they were trying to play into the fact that Wanda has lost a lot in terms of loved ones. Monica has lost a lot in terms of loved ones. Being wronged by other people as well, and not being treated properly by other people as well, seen differently by other people. They both can kind of understand that. There's this kind of weird thing with Captain Marvel, with Monica Rambeau, which I would have liked to have seen flesh out a little bit more. What I would have liked to have seen is when Monica Rambeau went straight back in, to confront Wanda. She went in there not to go, I understand how you're feeling, but to go, I'm really intrigued by what you're doing, and and the fact that you've managed to bring back your loved one. Can you bring back my mum? And she asks Wanda to bring back her mum, and or just kind of this kind of desperation, this or maybe there's something that maybe Monica wants from Wanda to sort of add the stakes in a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, nice. Maybe.
But she plays it really well. She plays really character well. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Miss Marvel. Not Miss Marvels, The Marvels. I keep getting it wrong. But I think in terms of the introduction of her character and her superhero, it was okay. I think it could have just been fleshed out and focused in on a little bit more. But obviously, this was about Wanda and about her journey as well. So, yeah.
Right, it's time.
Yeah,
let's discuss Catherine. Let's discuss Agatha. Let's go for it. So at the end of episode 7, we find out there's a doorway with many branches and darkness, and Wanda walks through it. And what does she see? Who she thinks is Agnes. Agnes.
You're right, first time.
And then Agnes goes, my name's actually Agatha Harkness, and it was Agatha all along.
How many times are we going to say it? What I really like about the kind of the reveal of Agatha is this is quite a well-known villain in the MCU, and the fact that they introduced it here was brilliant, so good, because it matched this kind of like yin and yang with Wanda. Now, what's really nice is that Agatha is controlled or answers to Mephisto. Okay, and Mephisto has been spoken about a lot in terms of a villain coming into the MCU, and Mephisto kind of can sort of be the physical representation of many things, but one thing that it was originally physicalized of was a massive bug, like a little like a fly, and you can see that fly. And there's a couple of shots of it on the curtain.
Oh yeah.
Now there's Easter eggs and theories out there that is Mephisto. That's a physical representation of Mephisto.
Love it.
That's kind of leading Agatha, because again, we get a look at Salem, the fact that of Agatha's kind of origin as a witch and all that kind of stuff, but we still need to understand, and I think we're still yet to understand, why did she come? I know she came to Westview because she felt the power of Wanda, right? But who told her to go? What's the reason of taking her power? You know, who's telling her all of this? Where is it coming from? And I'd like to see this inclusion of Mephisto as we go along. We've still got her series that's got to come out at some point. And hopefully Mephisto and Wanda coming back into that would be great. But yes, the introduction to Agatha was great. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know any of that, so that's interesting. And then for episode 8, we go into 1693, where Agatha betrays her coven, which is because her series is, what is that? Agatha, some of the coven, isn't it? The word coven is in there.
You're right.
And
Chaos?
I think
Chaos of Coven?
might be yes, Coven of Chaos, Chaos of Coven. Coven of Chaos.
Coven of Chaos.
Coven of Chaos. Fantastic.
Oh my god, is it coming out this year? It's coming out this year.
Is it? Ooh. I actually really like in episode 8 where Agatha says that accent really comes and goes to Wanda, because that obviously it feels kind of a double meaning for audiences, really, because obviously her accent is going, because she's going from American when it's within Westview, and then outside of it, it's the accent that she has. But obviously there is a large community talking about fan base that talk about that accent, so I quite like that. In general, episode 8, I absolutely love how Agatha gets Wanda to talk about memories, and we see those memories. I think that's such a clever episode.
It was really, again, really nice. They've got the opportunity to do it. They can't do this kind of stuff when you're doing big blockbuster movies, when you're doing Avenger movies. There's not a lot of time to give a lot of backstory to a character. And in this moment, we got to see the backstory of Wanda. The fact that she was a volunteer of Hydra when she was captured. She went in as a volunteer of Hydra, and the scepter's there. That's got the Mind Stone inside it, and obviously a part of the Mind Stone chose her. So there's a part of the Mind Stone that lives in Wanda, and obviously that wasn't revealed until much later. But you get that kind of silhouette of the Scarlet Witch, and obviously that's kind of that's not seen by anybody else in Hydra. That's only a vision that she sees. So we get so that's one part of her backstory. We also get her backstory with her parents, how what happened in Sokovia. What I really liked in that moment is when the bomb hit. It was a Stark Industries bomb.
Yeah, which harks back to the very first Iron Man film, right, where his weapons are starting to being used by kind of terrorists at one point, aren't they?
Yeah.
So absolutely, really incredible. Just that whole episode. I think episode 8 is definitely one of my top 3 episodes of Wandavision. I think it's insane how they do that.
There's that really good quote with Vision again.
But what is grief if not love persevering?
It's Shakespeare. That is Shakespeare. That is such a brilliant quote. It's so true. It's so true. In every way.
Absolutely, it is, and every time you hear it, it's like, you feel like it's quoting something.
It's heartbreaking, man.
It's insane. I think there's a moment where Agatha says, like, your parents are dead, your brother's dead, Vision's dead, and you just kind of go, oh wow, like they really make it really clear as to why Wanda is in this position, right, and why she's doing this, which actually leads into something I'll bring back when we, in a minute when we talk about the last episode. But and then we kind of see Wanda meeting Tyler Hayward, and Vision's body being ripped apart, what they're doing with that body, and then we find out, don't we, really, at this point, that Hayward's version of reality was bullshit, and that Wanda didn't actually take the body, because I think we see earlier in the series he show Darcy and Jimmy, and he goes like, "Oh, this is what she did. She came in, she kicked off a load of magic." We get like a flashback, don't we?
We do.
And then
Yeah.
he kind of alludes to the fact that he stole. I think he even says it. She stole his body, right?
Yeah.
But then we see that those events actually play out, and she didn't. She walks out and she just gets in a car, and then finds this plot of land. So yeah, I think that episode's amazing. And then we get what we didn't mention, or is it? No, it must have been a credit scene in episode 7 as well.
We got the Monica snoopers gotta snoop bit.
Snoop's gotta snoop.
Snoopers gotta snoop. Where I was gonna say Jeffrey Dahmer, but it wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. It was Evan Peters playing Ralph Boner, who catches her in the act. And I think that's the end of that one, isn't it?
I think it must be.
It was like the
right?
episode before.
Might be the episode before. Yes, must be the episode before because don't know. I don't mean the first credit scene's not, well, obviously not vital, but the credit scene in episode 8 is when we get we see that what Hayward's been working on, right? We get this
White Vision,
which is.
What's your thoughts on? I mean, we literally haven't spoken about Vision in his storyline and his development of his storyline in this bit, so that's the perfect opportunity. So Vision from episode 6 onwards becomes increasingly more sketchy and goes, I need to figure out what's going on. In the Halloween episode, we see that he goes out beyond the kind of means of the hex, notices that people are kind of like on autopilot. Like it's almost like what they perceive is that the further radius you get away, the less power Wanda has with these individuals. So they're on kind of like froze. Some of them are frozen, some of them are just repeating gestures. And it gets to a point. Obviously, he meets Agatha, but that's obviously under her own spell. She's playing up to that moment. We find out in the reveal. But he goes out of the hex, and as he goes out of the hex, obviously this is Vision's dead body. So when he goes out of the spell, he starts disintegrating, and obviously he shouts out that these people need help. And it becomes more of a kind of. I get really sad about Vision in this because obviously it just hits you home to the fact that this isn't the Vision that we know. This isn't the Vision that we started with. This is a dead reanimated version of Vision. And then when we get this kind of White Vision and Vision face off. I mean, the fight scenes with White Vision and Vision for a TV series, I think is really good. There were certain CGI moments when they're in the sky where I was like, it's a bit off. But it's forgivable. It's a TV series. But equally, I think some of the fight scenes were really, really good with this, especially with Agatha and Wanda, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Amazing.
But like when they do their confrontation, they stop fighting and they end up talking about the concept of what they were talking about. What was the ship?
Oh yes, the ship. Yeah,
it's really famous. It's really famous. So it's basically the concept of so if you've got a shipwreck and this is a really famous ship, and then you end up just kind of like changing the boards and you change over the wood, and then to the point that it's a completely different ship. But actually, is it the same ship? In its entirety, yes, it is, but it's all new parts. It's kind of a metaphor of what Vision is and what White Vision is.
I feel that bit, Matt. That specific scene, I felt was positioned in a bad part of that episode.
Totally. The first time I watched that, 100%. The first time I watched it, I was like, I had no idea what was going on.
No, and that time rewatching it, I felt exactly because I was like, well, hang on a minute, I'm supposed to just be watching a load of fight scenes, and now you're breaking it up with a really intellectual discussion, which just feels incredibly out of position. Like this needs to be when things are either slowing down at the end of an episode or at the right beginning of an episode. They should meet, have that conversation, then get into all the fights, not in the middle. Just had fight, Wanda, Agatha, Matt, fight, Vision. Oh, suddenly they're gonna have this meaningful chat in the middle of all this cat. I'm like, I'm not concentrating enough on that because I'm worried about who's punching who at the moment.
100%. I think you're absolutely. It's a bit jarring because it's literally in the middle of action, isn't it? But like we basically what happens in that moment is that our Vision kind of contemplates on what this means to White Vision, and effectively, what I love about White Vision, it kind of gives me kind of like White Gandalf vibes. It's really weird. It's really weird. But he gives him his memories. He gives his memories to White Vision, and the White Vision, his eyes change and they become a little bit more human, and then he just pisses off into the sky. And so okay, so this is where my question is. So we have right now in the MCU, present day, a version of Vision somewhere on Earth 616, just snooping around.
What happens to him in the end of the episode, though?
No Way Home, right? We get to the third installment, all right, for Spider-Man, and what the fuck? Where's White Vision? What's going on there? Do you know what I mean? All the other films that have come out.
But do we?
Where's he gone then, mate? Where's he gone? Where is? Dear listener, I have a genuine question. Where is White Vision? Someone tell me. What's he doing?
Because. Yeah, I suppose it's technicality, isn't it? Because she wipes Westview in the Westview's no longer a place, and then at the end, all of the people of Westview return to being people with that under her control, don't they? So, is Vision roaming around without any control, White Vision, or? Yeah, I don't know. It's a mad one.
Where
because,
is he?
But the thing is, Matt, White Vision was created. We learn from Hayward, don't we? White Vision was created using the, what would you call it? Not power. Well, yeah, using an essence of the power from Westview, right? Because they have like a missile-y thing that they've taken out of Westview in order to create White Vision, don't they? You know, when it gets in that episode where we see it, episode 7, we see what Hayward's taken out of Westview next to the body armor of White Vision. So is it that because White Vision was created by the substance of Westview and the magic that Wanda used, the minute that Wanda collapsed all of that and return everything back to normal, does he then become nothing? He becomes ashes, right? Because in essence, he's made from
these little parts,
those fragments.
So do you think he's just dead?
So he's just in the same way that house never existed. It's like he's never been there. Because he was part of the fragments of Westview.
Are you talking about what Vision are we talking about here?
White Vision you're on about, right?
He did, but he wasn't made a part of the hex, though, was he? He's not part of the spell.
But he is though. That's how Hayward got White Vision in there to begin with. Because the only reason he made them, there was a scene where
because he used the drone, didn't he?
Yeah,
he used the drone to animate it.
And he said that the only reason why he can get him back in there, because otherwise Vision, the minute he tried to go in the hex, he'd die, wouldn't he? He'd crumble it. And Hayward said the only reason why he managed to do that was because it was made by...
Could you imagine just like White Vision just being like flying around going, I understand the world now, he just kind of like flatlines and like falls to the Pacific Ocean, never to be seen again. Poor guy.
Cue the next What If series.
They get Paul Bettany back just for that one bit. I understand everything, I have a new purpose. And he just dies.
Oh mate,
unbelievable.
But this kind of leads on to my gripe with the last episode is there is way too much going on. This episode absolutely could have been split into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And there are way too many characters. So we have Jimmy Choo, Hayward, Darcy, Pietro, Wanda, Monica, Agatha, Wanda's Vision by Hayward, and the citizens of Westview, all in one episode. All of them have their own like plot and
side
their own
plots, yeah.
And I'm like, there is way too much for a 40-minute
episodes?
episode.
Why was it 9, not 10? It's so weird.
It's so bizarre, and this is why. And like earlier on, last week when we said about the sitcom episodes, like swaying into there's too much sitcom, not enough plot, like of Wandavision, and I'm like, that feels like if we'd have had much more of these plots earlier on, embedded much better, and the pacing was better, I think this last episode would have been less all over the place.
100%, 100%. I totally agree. It feels like it was kind of like, oh god, we've done these amazing like 7 episodes. We've got 2 episodes to wrap everything up, and they kind of go fuck. We wrap this up, and it kind of very much felt like that, especially for the last kind of 15 minutes, 20 minutes of that episode in the last one. But like we get the final kind of like fight with Agatha and Wanda. I love the moment in terms of the cliffhanger for the end of episode 8. She says, this is chaos magic that makes you the Scarlet Witch. We've been waiting for years for Wanda to be called the Scarlet Witch. We knew that this was coming as a fan base, so that payoff was really, really nice. But like seeing her fight Agatha in the sky, using the hex and using the runes as well to create a protection spell. Like what's really great is you see how genuinely ridiculously powerful Wanda is as a superhero, and you see her using it for her own gain, and you see her becoming, it is a villain story. I'm of the belief that it is a villain story.
Yeah. Now this is what another thing I wanted to chat to you about, because you mentioned this last week. I think the opposite. Bearing in mind the last episode, when we get the citizen, all the citizens of Westview, they're at one point they're like bowing down, aren't they? And then Wanda is in the middle, and we basically get, if you remember, one of the first times we ever meet Loki in the MCU. We see that exact scene play out. I think it's in Hamburg. I think he goes to Germany for an event, and then he comes outside of this big palace type thing, and it's all the people kneeling down, isn't it? Right. And for me, if you parallel that, you can absolutely see that Wanda is not a villain. Loki comes out, he loves the people kneeling for him, he uses that power, he's using everything about Wanda. There is that in that second you see the complete devastation from her face of the reality of what she's doing. Right? She, for me, genuinely believes that I don't think she knew or believed that she'd manipulated people in the way that she had. Right? I think I don't know what she thought she'd achieved or what she thought she'd done, because blatantly these people, are to a degree doing things for her, and that's pointed out when they're like, oh, I didn't do that bit right, I didn't do this bit right, I'm living in this world. But I think for me that is genuine devastation on her behalf when she sees the true extent of what she's doing to these people.
But I think she doesn't understand the power that she beholds. She because in this part of the fact that she's dealing with chaos magic is that she doesn't understand what's going on. So the fact that she's so powerful, and I'm not saying that she's deliberately trying to fuck up people's lives, but she's doing it from a place of selfishness. She is selfishly making choices, and I think that growth of selfishness happens throughout the series. The stakes get higher and higher for her then to go, well, I'm going to have to take the Darkhold. I'm going to have to take this book of dark spells to get my children back, which is how we end this series, right? And for me, that's what grows, and that's what every villain story is. Underneath any villain, there is an aspect of humility and humanity, of desperation for them to gain something from what they have lost, right? So that might be. Do you know what I mean?
Does Loki have any humanity though?
But
really,
it's difficult because he's the god of mischief. He's a Norse god. He's not human. He's not come from the planet Earth. I don't think you can compare the two.
Yeah, but okay. Wanda's not human, as we find out. As Scarlet Witch, she's otherworldly, right? She's still otherworldly.
Yeah, but like the witchiness comes from
The witchiness.
The plant. You know, it's housed on Earth. It comes from somewhere else, but it's housed on Earth. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's like Bond villains, right? Every Bond villain has a motive, and that's usually because either they were wronged or they were, you know, there's personal investment, there's personal trauma and all that kind of stuff. And that's why villains, you know, it's the Dark Knight. It's the Dark Knight phrase that comes back to me. It's either you live long enough to see yourself become the villain when you're a superhero. I think that's what happens. That's happening to Wanda. She's growing into something far more powerful than she understands, and then it gets to a point where she's too far deep, mate. And this is where, you know. You can't say that she's not the villain in Multiverse of Madness.
No, she absolutely. But is she, because the power is beginning to control her rather than that is an actual, what the difference being? The Joker. You bring in Dark Knight, the Joker, right? Classic villain, right? And there's reasons why he's a villain. He is making the choice to be a villain. His bad actions are purposeful and meaningful. Wanda, the Scarlet Witch element, for me, there are two Wanda. There's the human, decent Wanda who is grieving, who is deeply upset, deeply troubled. There is her power, her witchiness is overshadowing the rationale that she's going through.
Yeah.
But
what I would say is that just because of her actions, if they're unintentional, if the bad stuff that she's doing is unintentional, why does that discredit her from being a villain?
Because she undoes all of that, though. She undoes it, and like I say,
eventually,
hey, even Hayward's, vision of what she did wasn't true. She didn't fucking do anything in the bloody lab. She could have absolutely killed all of the people who wronged her, and there was more than enough reason. What they were doing in that lab was not genuine and not, good, right? Not positive for the world in any way. Let's be honest, right? Even if they're saying their intents are good. So she didn't do anything. She went to her own area, place, and all that stuff, I fundamentally believe that she thought possibly the people of Westview were just part of her what she managed to do. Because like you just said yourself, she doesn't know the true extent of her power. So I don't even think she thought those people were real people of that area, right? Because as far as she was concerned, she just used her power to get that house created and to bring her and Vision back. So when she went outside and there was a mini world outside of it,
yeah. Oh. Dear listener, let's bring this to the table, all right? I'm bringing the question out to you, all right? What do you think? Do you think WandaVision was an origin story for Scarlet Witch, the villain Scarlet Witch? Was it a villain origin story, or was it not? Genuinely, I want your comments. So let's put this out as a reel right frickin' now. It's happening. It's somewhere.
Oh, it's real. It's real. Yeah.
That's good. What a debate that was. That was a great debate. I enjoyed that.
That was beautiful. That was a lovely bit of business. I'm team Wanda. I feel for Wanda, and I don't. Yeah, I think
doesn't mean I don't feel for her.
No, well, you're a heartless prick, basically. But the witchy element is controlling her. That's not Wanda's motive in my mind.
But there we go. I think that's a brilliant way to finish off Wanda's story. I think we see, at the end we see Agatha. She's still in Westview, and I think Agatha's Coven of Chaos will start in Westview as well. So we're going to see. Yes, I think so. We've got Aubrey Plaza that's rumored as well to be in the show, which is very exciting.
I think we're going to just go back in time. Because I think this is going to just really show what happened in those.
I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think we'll probably be going toing and froing. I think.
Yeah, but what would be the point though? Because Westview's done, mate. I think she'll move on. I don't think
she'll
it
get
will.
out of it. I think she'll get out of it. I think this is how we get Wanda back. I think Agatha's going to get Wanda back. I think Wanda's, for all intents and purposes, right now, Wanda's dead, right? So, well, post Multiverse of Madness. But like, the idea is, I think Agatha's going to do something to bring her back. I think she cares for her a lot. I think there's something there. There's this weird kind of Batman and Joker vibes going on with them. So I love it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But we see the end. In terms of the end, we get the Hex that has to go. The boys end up going. Yeah. The kids. That she says goodbye to Vision. It's a really gorgeous, heartfelt exit, I think. And the way that they tone that's really nicely. Again, it does happen very quickly though. It doesn't really give you enough time to decompress from it all. But then we see Wanda as at the end with the Darkhold, fucking flipping those pages like no one, mate. Like fucking, how do I get my kids back, mate? And you understand that. You understand that. Of course you're gonna fucking do that. I'd take the Darkhold to get my kids back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I understand it.
Would you like to know? Or did you spot a little bit of trivia? So in that end credit scene, did you notice anything in the woods on the lead up to the house?
No.
Oh, so I've rumoured to believe that it was a changed end credit scene from when WandaVision first released. I don't know for sure. I did read it. Okay. So basically, at the beginning of the scene, we start to see, where we see where she's living now, right? And we see all those trees, and it takes us down a mountain, lovely mountain.
It's gorgeous.
If you pay attention and you go and watch it back, there is a silhouette that floats down the trees, and apparently that was edited and brought in after Multiverse of Madness.
What?
Because obviously, Mr. Doctor Strange.
Oh, is that then and there? Is that moment?
Yep.
Shit.
So go and watch that back, and you can see the silhouette coming down.
That's sick. I'm definitely going to do that. Dear listener, do that as well. See if you can spot it. That's amazing. I didn't know that. Have you got any more facts of that wonderful book of yours?
Hashtag spot the silhouettes. What have I got? I've got...
Forrest, let's have a look at your book.
Yeah.
I got one too. It's bigger than yours. I have had this sat next to me for an hour, waiting to do that. Oh, I've got a little book of facts. Fucking look at this encyclopedia.
Yeah, and have you used that once? No. What's that tell you about WandaVision? Anything exciting?
Okay, I've got Scarlet Witch here as a whole page.
That does look cool.
I can tell you this. Her height is 5'7". Her weight is 130 pounds. She has blue eyes and auburn hair.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome.
But does it tell you that the budget for each episode was reported to be as much as 25 million, which makes it the most expensive television series in history, beating The Pacific, which had a budget of 21.7 million per episode.
For some reason, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
Right, do you know what I mean?
It's such an expensive show. Also, big one, this one. Marvel Studios' first original series. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was originally slated to be Marvel's first show.
Was it?
But due to the new scheduling on Disney Plus amidst the amid COVID, WandaVision claimed the earlier release date. Kevin Feige was reportedly very satisfied. Kev Dog, were you? With this exchange, as he felt this series served as a better introduction for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's transition.
So right, he's so right. That K Dog knows. Yeah, he knows. He's good. He's good, mate. Good. I overall, on the genre.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, genre.
Hark back to that comment.
On the genre of this series, I loved it. It gave so many new perspectives and a new feel for a TV show. that furthered the plot, that furthered characters. That's now leading in. The golden thread very much was strong and alive in this iteration, and I loved it. It was really good. I want to give it a good solid. I'm going to rate this properly, not out of crisps, but out of 10, because I think it deserves it. Some clarity. I'm going to give it a good 8.7 out of 10.
I hope I hope it was worth ripping up our crisp content for a proper rating there. Unbelievable. Look at you. You've changed Phase 4, you have, mate. Unbelievable. All of our crisp fanatics out there are gonna fucking disgusted. You've just trod. You've just trod a dirty dog shit ridden shoe.
Oh, okay, fine. Do you want me to? I'll do the analogy. Do you know what? It'll be an
afterthought now, mate. That makes me fucking sick.
No. I'll do it. I'm walking through a Tesco Extra. All right.
Tesco Extra. Not even a Tesco's. He's got the extras. Yeah. Fab.
No, go on. You give us your rating. Go on.
Oh, this is just lovely. This is something different. This is like, you know what? I always get what's the ridged like steak crisps? McCoy's, isn't it? McCoy. Yeah. This is that bag of McCoy. You know, it's the hearty, lots of volume, lots of strength, lots of flavour,
lots of strength. How can you dictate a crisp has strength?
That is a strong crisp, right? A ridged crisp is.
Do you know what's really ridiculous? That I actually know what you mean, but go on.
Exactly. And it sat there, and I go, bloody hell, today I could do with a strong crisp. And this, what a strong series.
It is.
It's gorgeous. It's
so you're nearly full bag, I can only imagine.
Oh, this is full. This is brimming with happiness
from the top.
And love. Almost too much, brimming too much with the last episode. It's like I've opened the pack and one shot me in the face. Like,
it's too much.
What's going on? Hang on, slow down, McCoys.
So strong.
Such a mighty strong McCoy.
So mighty strong.
So mighty strong.
I can't even crack you. I can't even get you in my mouth. You're so strong.
I'm going to edit that voice clip. Oh God!
Unbelievable.
There we go.
Wandavision was absolutely delightful. What a brilliant way
gorgeous.
to start Phase 4. Forrest, what are we doing next week, mate?
We are starting something new. Something new is coming. We're doing a monthly roundup of news. I think we can talk about films and things that have come out. Just a monthly roundup of MCU, Marvel news, any superhero news. I think we're just going to town with it. We're just bringing, and we've got our very special friend Lee of Lights Camera Rant is coming back. He's going to chinwag with us. He's going to chew the fat, and I can't wait to see his shiny Australian face once again.
It's brilliant. I can't wait to have him back. He's such a legend, and it's a perfect episode as well because that guy knows his stuff in terms of like getting the news. I mean, you've got to follow him on Instagram. Okay, lights camera rant. He gives you all the stories every single day without fail. He's an incredibly dedicated podcaster. Mucho respect to that guy. So having him on next week is going to be so good. So good. But what are we doing after that, though?
After that, we're
What's
on
next from Phase 4?
We are on to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're doing another TV series. And this one I have yet to watch.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This would be my second watch with this one as well. So I'm excited.
Because there's so many things. Because anything within this is much more than a year. But anything that I hadn't watched, I wanted to say for the podcast. So this, Moon Knight, I haven't seen. So there's loads of stuff that I can't wait. What if we're going to get to finally? Can't wait. So we are about to stumble across this wonderful TV series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm excited.
Can't wait.
Right.
Well, we've got to figure out as well when our year podcast is at some point. So we'll announce what we're going to do for our anniversary when we turn 1. Oh, isn't that sweet?
Oh, 1 year's of age. Look at us. Oh, we've grown so much. Oh, fantastic. That's lovely news, that. Cool. Right.
buddy.
It's always a pleasure, mate. Love you lots, like Jenny Tots, mate.
I love you like strong crisps.